Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Par Tolles joins us. He's the CEO of Tolles Development Company, here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Carson Valley Inn, it's your place for the good times. Carson Valley Inn.
Welcome to the Winnemucca Big R.
Hi, I'm John Walker. Welcome to Big R Lovelock.
Hi, I'm Rich Martin. Welcome to Fallon Big R.
My name is Braden. Welcome to Big R Fernley.
Hi, I'm Kelly. Welcome to Big R Sparks.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com. MAGA extremist Sam Brown has repeatedly supported efforts to ban abortion without any exceptions for rape or incest. Before moving to Nevada, Brown ran for office in Texas, where he supported the ban that had the toughest restrictions in the country, and he strongly supported overturning Roe v. Wade.
On issues of life, that is a non-negotiable for me.
Sam Brown's extreme far-right agenda is wrong for Nevada. Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the Do It Right guys and get the air conditioning back on today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why sweat for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your air conditioning fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today at 323-5585 or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're always pleased to welcome back to the program Par Tolles. He is the CEO of Tolles Development Company. Nothing going on in your world, right?
Busy 2024. It's just good.
It's an amazing year.
Yeah, it's a good year.
So let's hit some of the highlights of things that are happening within the week of us taping this.
Yes. You want me just to go?
Well, if not, it's going to take 45 minutes to list all the projects.
No, I think most exciting this week, we're opening a Hyatt Hotel at the Summit Mall, which is on Mount Rose Highway for those not familiar. We started the hotel before COVID, and a week after we broke ground, I got very nervous. I had GFC, probably PTSD. That's a lot of acronyms, but and we shut it down. So we waited till after COVID ended, and then we started it back up. But it's the southernmost hotel in Reno, so closest to Carson City, and then the hotel closest to Lake Tahoe. So I really view, I think from a business travel standpoint, it'll be a great hotel because you have all the amenities of the Summit Mall, restaurants, Apple Store, Lululemon, et cetera. And then we'll be a refugee hotel, I think, for Lake Tahoe. Lake Tahoe, as you know, has gotten so expensive, it's just really hard for the middle class to enjoy it. So we'll be 25 minutes from Incline, if that. And I think I'm looking forward to getting it open, and I think it'll be a successful place.
Oh, I have no doubt. And you're absolutely right about Lake Tahoe. Somebody said to me a couple of weeks ago, Lake Tahoe is now for the rich.
Yeah, it really is. And it's so busy. We could spend a lot of time on the evolution of Lake Tahoe, but yeah, I'm excited that it's a great location for Mount Rose. I don't think Mount Rose has really ever had, the ski resort's ever had a hotel that's linked with, so we're going to partner with Mount Rose, Sky Tavern, et cetera. So yeah, it's going to be a good recreation hotel and a good business hotel. So.
You know what's funny is if you go back probably about 25 years, maybe even 30 years, there was a proposal to put a 3,000 room hotel resort on top of Mount Rose.
Whoa.
And Senator Richard Bryan came out at the time and said, no way, essentially. I'm paraphrasing.
Yes.
But I thought at the time, because we were going through a recession at that point, that the jobs would have been needed and it would be a great location. But if you're not going to do it on top of Mount Rose, then this is a very good location.
Yes, yes.
All right, let's move to the next one. which is at the Reno Tahoe Airport, a 1 million square foot building. Is that the first?
So it's 900. I rounded up, but 900,000 square feet, 4 buildings. We ground leased 50 acres from the Reno Tahoe Airport, and I would call it the best located industrial park in the city. Now, it's so hard to find good proximate industrial land that's affordable. Ground lease is a tricky, the fundamentals of a ground lease are tricky, but we worked really well with the airport and just completed it, and it's in the lease up stage. So leasing's a little slow. I think, across the country it's slow, but we've got about 20% of it leased so far, and we've got some good tenants in tow. But I'm very excited. It's well positioned, it's attractive, it's great for overnight type logistics, and you couldn't build anything else there because of its proximity to the runway. We had population restrictions and height restrictions, everything goes along with airport development. But it found the right time. We found the right time to partner with the airport to build it. So.
And people don't realize that airports, not just here in Reno, but in Las Vegas, are just such drivers of economic growth.
Yeah, they really are, and they across the board, from not only entertainment, business, but they have ancillary parcels. Many airports do. They can really, if they're designed correctly, can really be a good amenity to the community, and I think this one is. So.
Why do you think things are slow right now across the country?
Yeah,
do you think it's anticipation of the elections?
Everybody says that, and I think it's interest rates. I mean, you just had a cut, and so a lot of businesses are waiting. When do we take on debt that's going to allow us to grow? And we know there's 2 more interest rates coming, or at least that's the prognostication right now. So I think more than anything, I think it's more of an economic waiting. Everybody always puts on the election, and I don't, from a real estate standpoint, if you look at the last 20 years, there's been no meaningful changes in real estate because in an election year. So I think certain companies, if there's legislation going, either maybe in environmental issues, if companies think if one side gets elected, this is going to promote my sector, then maybe I'll wait. So maybe for some companies there is, but I think it's more of economic reasons, not so much of an election reason.
Can you do refinancing as relatively easily as you can with residential property for industrial and commercial property? So you take advantage of where the interest rates are now, but 2 years, 3 years down the road,
that's a good question.
You can refi?
Sometimes it depends your loan terms. So in our lending environment, typically the loans that we have prepayment penalties. So you have to weigh, okay, does my lower interest rate now can I afford to pay the prepayment penalty or the yield maintenance, they call it, in order for me to go get a lower interest rate loan? And sometimes we do that. Sometimes it does make sense, but it's just an equation that you have to weigh.
You recently sold the last of your parcels that you had purchased in downtown Reno.
Right.
One of which happens to be in my office.
That's right. That's right. Sorry about that.
Well, you're still managing the place, so that's the good news. But my question to you is, this is a great sign for downtown Reno, though.
Yes.
That people are coming in with money who want to be there.
Yeah, I think there hasn't been a significant office built, really a spec office built, certainly in downtown Reno, but throughout all of Reno in the last decade. So you have some supply constraints. I think the buildings that we owned in downtown Reno were walk-up type buildings. We have smaller tenants that never had a stay-at-home type policy, so they've stayed leased. We never had a significant vacancy over the last 5 to 7 years. So I think California buyers, when they look at that, they think this is a stable investment. If they were able to handle COVID, then going forward, we're going to be able to raise rents and stay occupied. And we've had good 1031 buyers out of California that feel comfortable with office product in Reno. So
what does 1031 mean?
So if somebody sells a building in anywhere, they have the ability to trade into like-kind property and defer their taxes.
Oh, okay.
So the 1031 world is a huge driver in our business. And we see a lot of California people wanting to leave California and invest out in other places like Reno. And that's exactly what our 2 buyers were. We're 1031 buyers out of California.
Going back to interest rates for a moment.
Yeah.
Aren't we at close to normal interest rates?
Yeah, we are. We are. I think we're not, at least in my career, I never say never, but we won't go down to where we were in that 2.5% to 3% interest rate environment. I think we'll be interest rates are based off the 10-year Treasury, and the 10-year Treasury is going to settle in at about 3.5, and that's where it probably should be. And then there'll be some pain as people have invested with low interest rate loans, and as they mature, that additional debt coverage is going to be painful for them. They're going to have to put some more money into their product. But for those of us that lived the majority of our career in a kind of 6.5 to 7% interest rate environment, this is back to normal.
And that is good news, because otherwise the Fed has no place to go when there's problems.
No.
If you're already at zero.
And businesses just want stability. They want to know where it's going to be. That's another reason why I think people are waiting. It's like, just let us know where it's going to settle out so we know how to conduct our business. And I think, again, we'll have a couple more rate cuts. We'll find equilibrium on where we should be, and then I think the business will continue to move forward. So.
It was interesting. I had some guests from England staying with us recently, and I've obviously been living in Reno a very long time, and one gets used to the properties that are here and how people perceive them. But I hadn't been through the Row, for example, in a long time in downtown Reno. So 4,000 rooms there with the 3 properties now owned by Caesars. I was thrilled that as we walked along the upper level through all the different attractions, the Gordon Ramsay restaurants and all the rest, how impressed my world traveler friends from England were with the Row. It seems as though, some of us have, a skewed view from Reno because we look back at the old days,
right,
and expect things to be the same as they were, which of course they're never going to be.
Right.
But it was nice to have a different set of eyes. You have done a lot with downtown. What's your thoughts on where we are at this point?
Yeah, we just built a building right next to the Row, a little 8,000 square foot retail building, quickly leased to 4 different restaurants. It'll be able to serve the university, more fast food, Jimmy John's, Teriyaki Madness, etc. But it showed me that there's demand for downtown, and I think as the university continues to creep over Highway 80, I think it's going to continue to push for redevelopment downtown. But there needs to be more. I mean, that South Virginia Strip is still a difficult area. I was really disappointed when Harrah's got stalled. I hope it's stalled. It needs to go through its bankruptcy and somebody else needs to buy it, because that was a really good bookend, a southern bookend to what's happening with the university, and then filling in between. My hope is that the Row continues to reinvest in their properties. I think they need to. I think what Alex Morello, you've had Andrew Diss on your program recently. I think what the GSR is doing is really exciting, and I hope it continues to raise the bar for the other gaming establishments. But downtown Reno still there's a lot of us pushing and trying to continue to redevelop downtown, and it's happening, but it's not happening at the pace I would like. So.
All right, so what can be done to get it to the pace that you would like?
Yeah, I think, I know we'll talk a little about the homeless issues. I think we've made a huge effort in that, with that population, to move them a little bit east of downtown. That makes it more of a safe and clean environment for development. I think property owners need to eventually sell at reasonable prices that allow for redevelopment. We're just not there yet. There's a lot of stubborn property owners on what would be the east side of South Virginia that just continue to have really dilapidated buildings. I would love to see Reno's code enforcement really amp up what they demand for South Virginia, and if people don't reinvest in their properties, then they have to sell. And I would be in favor for a lot of tough love when it comes to city council and forcing people to redevelop their properties. Because until that happens, Sam, it's just going to be, it's dilapidated. South Virginia's dilapidated.
And these are owners that have been there since the 50s and 60s.
Yep. Multiple
owners on single properties that have made it so difficult for city council to be able to negotiate with them.
Yes, and I think there needs to be further conversation from the business community to city council to really try to encourage them to be more stringent on what they require from their property owners.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back much more with Par Tolls after this timeout. As you know, Reno is booming. Tolls Development Company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Tolls Development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Story County is leading Nevada.
home of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, Google, Tesla, Panasonic, and other world-leading companies. Story County provides thousands of tech, advanced manufacturing, and logistics careers for Nevadans. We're diversifying and driving Nevada's economy and generating millions in tax revenue and billions in economic activity across northern Nevada. Story County is leading Nevada's future.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Par Tolles. He is the CEO of Tolles Development Company. We started talking about the homeless situation in downtown Reno. You have gotten tremendously involved. For anybody that complains that businesses don't care, you are the antithesis to that because you care passionately. What more can be done? Where should we be heading with this?
Yeah, it's a great experiment. I think we've kind of formed this ecosystem in Reno where we're a model for the West. We built the largest, one of the largest, if not the largest, homeless shelter in the country with COVID money, and we raised about $10 million from the general public. And we have a campus now that can hold 650 people. Across the street, right next to that, we have the Hope's new hospital clinic, which is a federally qualified health center. Across from there, we have 30 tiny homes. We have a transitional housing called Sage Street. Catholic Charities serves 900 meals a day to the homeless shelter. Food is not an issue in Reno for the homeless. If they will go and get service and get help, they can have 2 solid meals a day. But Sam, until we build a long-term care mental facility that alleviates the jail has now become a holding tank for the mentally ill and for the addicted, and that's not what the jail should be there for. And we tore them all down during the 70s and 80s. And if I were king, I would take, I'm going to sound a little bit to the left here, but I would take 5% of the military budget and I would devote it to what I view as a real clear and present danger in this country, and that's the 600 to 700,000 homeless people in this country. And nobody's talking about it. You don't hear either side talking about it. We talk about it locally, but we haven't talked about it nationally. There needs to be, I don't know how many, but 50 to 70 long-term care mental health facilities built for people that are never going to be productive members of society. But we have to get them off our streets. We can't allow them and facilitate them living in dangerous encampments where some of the activists view that as a liberty issue. It's not. It's just allowing them to get sick, to be in danger, to live in their own filth around in dangerous situations, and we have to provide a long-term care for that. And I hope that Reno can lead the way in that. I think that's we've led the way in a lot of different ways for secondary markets, smaller markets. I think our next phase is going to be to build one of these longer-term campuses and see how it affects our community, and hopefully it will spur on others.
So what did you think about the Supreme Court decision that's allowing local jurisdictions to basically go after homeless people to get them off the streets?
Yeah, no, I'm all for it. I think we have to be, again, using the word tough love, but we can't allow people to live in our public areas, along our river in our case, in the dangerous situation that those encampments are. And we have the ability, if people go to the CARES campus, which is what we call our homeless shelter, and get services, they can get service. There is a contingent that continues to be extremely active. They're activist oriented in the sense they want to live like they want to live. And I think we have to increase our laws. It doesn't allow that anymore. So there's a lot of civil liberty type issues that come into play here, but I think we have to amp up our laws and our enforcement when it comes to providing a clean and safe downtown, and that goes for a number of different cities.
All right, let's take another break. We'll be back more with Partols after this timeout.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
Early in the morning or throughout the night, professional truck drivers are on the job, serving you, safely moving freight that's crucial to our economy. From the oldest industries to our newest innovators, from the exotic to the everyday, trucks are everywhere, moving everything. Never afraid to embrace a future that makes Nevada and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
Here on 7 at 7, we're bringing you the local headlines in just 7 minutes.
We've got you covered in the morning, evening, and for all breaking news in between and as it happens.
Life is busy, and we don't waste your time. Join us for local news now streaming on our YouTube page.
It's a good time to eat. It's a good time to play.
It's a good time to win.
Ooh, your good times are tamarack.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Par Tolles. He's the CEO of Tolles Development Company. We've talked about this both with you and in other conversations about your project in Jean, which is just across the way from.
No, sorry, we've been talking about it for a long time. It's finally going to start. So
we're very excited about it.
Yeah.
So where are you at this point?
So we're going to build our first building. It's about 500,000 square feet. We'll start hopefully in November. We've had a lot of different water hydrology that we'd had to deal with. It's taken a long time to get it permitted, but we're in for building permit, and we should start before the end of the year, I'll say. So.
Okay. What kind of excitement is around this?
It's interesting. We'll be by far the southernmost industrial submarket in Las Vegas, and I'll repeat myself what I've told you, but this allows a truck to go from the Port of Long Beach to Jean and go around and turn around and go back same day. So all the congestion of truck traffic that goes down I-15 next to the Strip on their way to North Las Vegas, our thesis has been if we can build a substantial submarket that can attract rail, and Union Pacific's excited about our project, the rail runs right through the middle of it, and we can get the surface traffic, the truck traffic to come to Jean and not have to go all the way to North Las Vegas, then I think from an environmental standpoint, from a congestion standpoint, we serve the market well. We want to continue to diversify Las Vegas. You can see manufacturing numbers, and skilled manufacturing is up in Vegas. I think 25% is still gaming, but there's a lot of other. And I'm very excited about the diversification of Las Vegas, and I think we can really facilitate that kind of from the edge of Las Vegas all the way to the state line. If this land bill eventually goes through and we start to see good thought out development going south, right. We can really alleviate I-15 and allow the gaming to continue to evolve and do better, but then taking manufacturing and some of the more industrial work towards California.
Well, and the other part of that is, and I was just in Las Vegas this weekend, is that the amount of traffic on the road right now, and with all these major venues, that when they turn out after a show, those streets are so packed, they are so clogged.
No, they're really clogged. And I don't know how to, I mean, that is what it is, but that's going to continue to be, Vegas is going to continue to have to fight through that and evolve through that as entertainment continues to grow and the casinos continue to grow. But maybe we'll have self-driving cars someday, Sam, and we won't need parking garages, and everybody will just leave their cars at home. So
flying taxis.
Maybe that's
what Paul Steelman told
Let's
me,
go.
the architect. Flying taxis. Let's talk about this came up in the last week, which is that Microsoft wants to utilize the reactor that was shut down about 5 years ago at 3 Mile Island. It wasn't damaged in the historic event. And I think that this is exciting and about time. You know, and Doug Cunnan and I have talked about this on the program. I said, nuclear energy needs a new name. He said fusion. Because if you market something as a different way, then people won't be scared of it.
That's right. I think it's a seismic shift. I think the fact that Microsoft, one of the reactors has stayed open, one of them is closed. They're activating the one that was closed. All that power is going strictly to Microsoft. But it is a gold rush for power right now. I mean, if you have a piece of land that can provide 200, 300 megawatts of power, you can have a data center on that land immediately. And with the evolution of AI and the evolution of electric vehicles, the power demand is so strong that I think the only way we can fill this need is through these smaller power plants. Not these large reactors take so long to build, but these smaller type product does not take as long. They're safe, they're clean. It is one of the cleanest fuels available. And if we don't do that, as you and I were talking, I mean, we're going to have miles and miles and miles of solar panels, and eventually that's just not sustainable. Alternative energy is great, but we've got to put pressure on also these data centers to be more efficient with their power too, and I think that needs to act in tandem with the need for additional power. But I think nuclear power is the way to go, and I think we're going to see it evolve very quickly here in the next decade.
And that's where we have to leave it. Always a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you. And we'll be right back.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
They want us to believe we only have 2 options. That's just not working anymore. I've never been a follower. I'm a businessman and entrepreneur. I'm ready to forge a new path to secure our future, one that keeps Northern Nevada free, fair, and wild. A path that means freedom for all, including affordable housing.
I'm Greg Kidd, and I approve this message because I'm not from either political party. I'm for Nevada.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Event Center sits at the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. 2 floors of meeting and event space are ideal for groups and conventions. Stay in one of 200 luxurious rooms and suites. Brand your event throughout the property. Flexible event spaces make for easy planning and personalization. Take over the entire hotel with a full buyout option.
As always, you can watch Nevada Newsmakers 24 hours a day on various platforms, including television, radio, our website, audio and video podcasts, YouTube. If you want to find the show, you can find it pretty darn easily. And we cover politics, business, health, and education. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next broadcast.